Hi kids, welcome back to Sunday School Online. I'm Father Ted, and today we'll be looking at a very beautiful story, a short story, but one that is important in our tradition, and that is Jesus' miracle of the multiplication of the 5 loaves and the fish on the mountain in Galilee. So this is a beautiful story where Jesus performed a miracle where he fed 5,000 men, not counting women and children, who were listening to him on the mountain with only 5 loaves of bread and some fish. So this is also a story which is important for us because if you notice, sometimes at the end of church, we have a service called Artoklasia, which is the blessing of 5 loaves. And sometimes people bring oil and wine, and we bless them on big feast days like name days and things like that, or big feasts of different saints of the church. And then we cut that bread and we give it out to people at the end of church. This blessing of the loaves, as it's called, or the Artoklasia, the breaking of the loaves, comes from this story that we're going to read today. So let's take a look at the miracle today. One time Jesus and his disciples stood on a hillside overlooked the lake of Galilee. Several thousand people came out of the cities to hear him teach. When you give money to the poor, Jesus said, do not do it in a public place where others can see you. And when you do religious things so that you can be praised and admired by other men, you will not be rewarded by God in heaven. So don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. When you pray, don't be like the religious hypocrites who pray in public so that they will be seen of men. And when you pray, do not use repetitions like your religious leaders do, for they stand in public places and make a show of their devotion. Do not spend all your energy and time trying to get rich. Rich people have more trouble than anyone else, and they love their riches so much that it is hard for them to enter into heaven. Don't lay up your treasures in this world, but lay up treasure in heaven, where it will last forever. You cannot serve 2 masters, God and money. You will end up hating one and loving the other. And somebody asked, Master, it is late in the day, and people have been with us all day. They must be hungry, and it is far to any city where they could buy food. You must send them away now so that they can go and buy food. And the young boy said to Jesus, Master, you can have my lunch. My mother prepared for me 5 loaves and 2 small fish. Have everyone sit down, Jesus said, and we will serve them. With what? Asked his friends. Let's see, it looks like we are having fish and bread, he said. Borrow 12 large baskets and prepare to distribute the food. But master, that is not enough to feed 1 man, much less 5,000. Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth, Jesus prayed to his Father. What is he doing pouring that little bunch into the basket? Look at that. Where did all that food come from? You see the miracle of all the fish coming out. Praise God, the people said. He gives us bread from heaven just like Moses. Mother won't believe this. People took bread and fish from the baskets, and the food just multiplied again and again. Master, everyone has eaten, and still the baskets are full. We cannot empty them. Gather up what is left, said Jesus, and then you and the others take a ship to the other side of the lake. I will see you later. I must go into the mountain to pray. So Jesus went up into the mountain alone, and his disciples all got into the ship and left for the other side of the lake. And Jesus often went alone into the wilderness to pray. So you see, kids, that Jesus not only did the miracle where he fed the people who were hungry, 5,000 men plus women and children, so it would have been a lot more, maybe 10,000 or even more than that, who had come to see him. Not only did he perform the miracle, but he was also teaching the people important lessons about what is important in life, and that money and riches are not important, but rather to serve God and to love God, to create treasures in heaven, which is basically to do the will of God and to help other people. And so Jesus was not only teaching the people, but he was also feeding them and working miracles. And then at the end, we see that Jesus told the disciples to get into the boat and to go over to the other side of the lake of Galilee while he went out into the wilderness to pray. He often liked to retreat all by himself to a quiet place in the desert so that he could pray with God. A very important thing for all of us to do as Christians, to spend time every day all by ourselves, to speak to God and to pray to him. And so this is a very, very beautiful story. And we will see next week what happens immediately after this miracle, what happens to the disciples when they are in the boat on the Sea of Galilee, and how Jesus helps them and performs yet another one of his greatest miracles. We'll see you all next week. God bless.